Hey guys, before the video starts, apologies if I look like a zucchini, but real quickly, I just want to announce that my tech show has officially merged its way over to TikTok. You can now access my short episode of TikToks and short episodes of Technoid, not just on YouTube Shorts, but now on TikTok. So if you have a TikTok account and if you want to watch more episodes of Technoid and some exclusives, follow me on TikTok at Technoid01. Link will be in the comment section and in the description to follow. Alrighty, fanboys and fangirls, on today's episode of Technoid, the iPhone 14 Pro is rumored to have a huge hardware overhaul after the recent events of the S22 Ultra. Seems like Apple might be twisting a few things to not only match performance, but to give its hardware the upgraded needs. Also on today's episode, we also have some more information on the new MacBook 13-inch entry-level MacBook Pro. We have some info on that. And lastly, Samsung is having another event in 10 days, and I honestly don't know what it's going to be, but let's just speculate about it. All that on today's episode, so don't touch that dial, turn your quality up to 4K because Technoid starts right now. So story number one, the main story, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Now, as you know, Apple has recently undergone a lot of rumors and undergone a lot of things in the tech world in regards to the iPhone 14, because for the first time in such a long time since the iPhone 10, has there been so much anticipation for not only a redesign, but for really a huge accumulation and urgency of the removal of the notch. And it seems like Apple's gonna give everybody exactly that, as we've already covered it in previous episodes, but we have more information in regards to the hardware specs, not just internally, but externally as well. Taking a look at the reports, it seems that the iPhone 14 Pro is rumored to feature 8 GB of RAM, not only matching, but also coming close to the Galaxy S22. But we also have some reports that the camera quality will also be getting a huge upgrade. Now, a lot of reports earlier were saying that we were going to see the 48 megapixel sensor make its way over to the iPhones in the next model. But there are some reports, again, take this with a grain of salt, we do not know if it is true right now, we have to wait and see. But according to several reports, it seems that after the S22 Ultra's camera quality and a lot of users' feedback, and also Apple monitoring the assessment, there have been some internal talks of them pushing the trigger on the 48 megapixel sensor for the 14 Pro and Pro Max. This would be a huge bump in quality because while I always feel Apple has some great cameras, and I'm not going to deny that, I do have to admit the 12 megapixel has been on the cameras for almost a few years now, and it would be nice to see Apple go into the 48 world, especially with Google with the Pixel series. But also, I feel that it would justify this whole new redesign. You're redesigning the iPhone, you're giving it a punch hole, double punch hole, whatever you're gonna do with it. You're finally removing the notch, and you wanna make this phone feel different and stand out from any model that came. So the camera quality should really also be in that calibration. Even if it's the front camera, I think that'd still be good either way. But also taking a look at the reports in terms of the hardware, Apple is reportedly expected to upgrade the RAM to 8 GB instead of the previous 6 GB, so it will match the S22. But also, if you know anything about Apple's RAM management, they have some great management with RAM. Lastly, and most importantly, in terms of the hardware, it says here that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will not only have the 120Hz display, which we've already guessed, but it will also up the new refresh rate, doing some certain tweaks. We don't know exactly how they're going to up it because the 120Hz rate already works perfectly fine on the iPhone 13s, so I don't really see what they could do any different there. But basically, the moral of the story is the hardware is going to get a huge significant upgrade for the 14 Pro and Pro Max. In regards to the 14 and 14 Max, which is the rumored name for the newer model because they're dropping the Mini, it seems that that will stick at the standard configuration of the current iPhone 13 designs, but will just have 6 gigabytes and also some less camera specs. So that's everything that we know now about the 14 Pro and Pro Max. So let me hear your thoughts down below. Do you believe that Apple is going to have a huge year of upgrades, or do you think that they're going to just keep riding on what works, but maybe give us some software tricks in there? Alrighty, story number 2, let's talk about the M2 MacBook Pro. Now, John Brazzer covered this on his episode, which, dang it, John, you beat me to the punch, but I am not willing to admit defeat because I will cover it in my own. Nah, I'm just playing. But anyway, according to Mac Rumors, this report is coming to us from the same person that revealed that the MacBooks from the last upgrade, the Pros, were going to have a notch. This is the same guy that said this last minute, got laughed at, got mocked at, and then it turned out to be true. So this person, whoever this source is, has a good reputation as of this recording. That could change either way. But according to him, these M2 MacBook Pros are ultimately going to be the entry-level MacBook Pros that every consumer, I guess, are craving for. I have no clue if anybody's asking for that. But according to the reports, it seems that Apple will, of course, reveal the device. They will give it basically the same chassis, the same build to save costs. There are no reports if we are going to see a new keyboard, if we're going to see any improvements. All we know is that basically it will be the same MacBook Pro that we've seen, the same 13-inch design, which I think looks fine considering what we've seen already, and we'll have the M2 chip, which will basically be a performance upgrade. That's kind of typical nowadays of what Apple does. They do this all the time. They always just make, when something is in the budget end, they don't touch it. They don't upgrade it right away. And maybe that's a good thing for this MacBook Pro, but I've been thinking about it and I really don't see the need. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I, myself, don't see a need for an entry-level MacBook Pro when it's going to be about the same as the MacBook Air, because the only differences that I can notice is maybe the GPU performance and the MacBook Air having only one USB-C port, maybe 2, I could be wrong. But I feel that this is the same situation we've been in with Apple when they have multiple different MacBooks to hit multiple different price points, but they're in an awkward stage when 2 of them can do the same thing, the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air, these M2 chips. So I don't know necessarily if I see fit, but I will say the M2 MacBook Pro would be a good buy if they add more ports, but that's of course how Apple gets you to pay for the Pro and Max. Me personally, I don't really want the M1 Pro and Max one. Me personally, I'd be cool with an M2 MacBook Pro. I actually don't mind a smaller computer as long as they upgrade the internals, like maybe newer speakers, maybe giving it some of that features and more ports. Maybe that would be the pulling trigger for me. But until then, I'm rocking out my 15-inch till it dies and breaks down or can't get updates anymore. And last story, the final story, let's talk about that Samsung event that has been announced. Now, right off the heels of the S22 event and basically everybody really talking about Samsung, Samsung wants to capture that momentum as they are already announced in 10 days from now that they will host yet another event, and this one will be located on the 27th of February called the MWC event, which is the Mobile World Conference. Now, everybody is speculating if it's going to be hardware, if we're going to see some new devices. Me, I am not sure, because the last time they did this, the last time they said that there was an event, it was just a collaboration event. There was no new hardware. It was just new designs, etc., etc. So I don't know if I'm going to believe that, but I wouldn't rule it out as we have seen Samsung give things in these events. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I just wanted to put that in there because if you're enjoying your S22 Ultra or anything, definitely check out this event and see maybe if they got some new hardwares. Me personally, I'd love to see if they got some new Galaxy Buds, but ever since they locked them into the Samsung ecosystem, my want, because I used to rock the Samsung Galaxy Buds all the time, but if they brought it back over to iOS, making it compatible with the app, boom, I'd switch over back in a heartbeat. And that's it for today's episode of Technoid. Now guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, you can hit the dislike button. That helps circle my views as well. Also, real quickly, if you notice, we are back on the lavalier microphone. I miss having a lavalier. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe, have a good day, and peace.